Hello, lovely friends and lovely people. Today we're going to be talking about 8 ways to activate your energy now. And so I'm Hani Cheng from the You Only Live Once Life and Business Innovation Style book, runner of the Synchronistic Wealth Summits, as well as your yummy embodiment, and how you can really embody your magnificent unique energy here, right now, right here in your world. Today, I also have a really little guest here who's going to fly out into the wild soon. This is the butterfly that I found um, as a caterpillar and who's going to be hanging out with us on this video today before we release her to the wild, back into the wild. She lets me kiss her. Mwah. Anyway, so, oop, there she goes. Does she want to come back? All right. Ooh. All right. Beautiful. All right. So the reason why we wanted to do this topic is because we've had a lot of different energy work being done with our group and our liberated leaders this week, especially something called the Matrix Unplugging. And we have a lot of energy movement based work that we do in order for people to clear out energy so that they can more beautifully show up in the world in their calling and create the world that they really want. And so the reason why we start doing energy work and energy activations is because when we activate our energy, when you clear out and detox your energy, that's when you're able to really rise to another level of awareness and consciousness that you can then use to approach your life. Because if you're staying in the same consciousness, the same awareness, looking at your life from the same place, it's really difficult to make changes that are drastically different, especially pivotal ones. And so this session today with you is to share with you 8 ways on how to leverage energy work, 8 ways on how to activate your energy after energy work, but also in a way that allows you to get in more alignment with your calling, your purpose, as well as your direction on what to do next. So the first one we've already talked about is detoxing, right? Making sure that whatever you do, you are creating a really clear boundary and awareness on what kind of energy comes into your life and what kind of energy you are allowing in your life. When I talk about energy, I mean it in terms of thought forms, in terms of how you perceive the world, in terms of how you respond in the world to different stimuli, different triggers, different inputs and experiences. So one of our programs, the Matrix Unplugging, we unplug people from a lot of paradigms, a lot of different triggering pieces of information, their responses to pain, their responses to hate, their responses to damaging ideas that would skew their way of thinking to influence them to not have their own thoughts, but a thought that's influenced by outside forces. So the first step is to really understand that either you have gone through a detoxing process where you are now energetically really clean, or find a way to detox your energy field so that you can really get in touch with that inner voice without the inceptions, without the influences, and without the manipulation sometimes of your own psyche, your past, or any type of frequencies that are not of your purest form. So the main paradigm that we are holding and the main idea that we're holding is when you are in your most pure form and when you are in a form of most, let's say, stripped away of all pretext and all pretense, you really actually know within yourself what your next step is. So now the next Number 2 on how to activate your energy after detoxing it and after understanding that you've just cleansed yourself from ideas and the ways to do that, we go into in a different video. But the second thing is to delete triggering potentials. So a lot of times, when you're not going for your purpose, when you're not going for for your calling is because there's a lack of clarity. Or it might be that you know what it is, but there's a lot of stuff that's in the way that triggers you to make that seem more impossible, to make that seem a little more challenging, or there is no path laid in front of you that you see someone else who has done it before, or someone else who has done it before looks like, you know, they put in a lot of years, and it may not be the way that you want to, so it's hard to see yourself in those shoes. And in that sense, you want to understand what are the things that are holding you back, and be able to really clarify and put them aside so that you can see what is the limitation, what's real, but also give room for the dream to open up, because you want to be able to explore this part without judging it. So delete all the triggering limitations that are preventing you from getting clear, because when you have already energy detoxed, then you are really in a space of really easily identifying when these thoughts are coming in that are preventing you from moving forward. You can kick them out so you can stay on track. Now, the third one is to connect even deeper into a place of your pure joy. Your pure joy, that place where you're infinitely creative, infinitely imaginative, infinitely expressive and excited, full of wonder, full of joy, full of fulfillment, and connect to it, right? So as you're connecting to it, what you're doing is you're activating that energy, and you're coming from that energetic space. And that energetic space will then allow you to find similar vibrational thoughts and similar vibrational ideas that can support you. So you want to connect to that place first. And so the third step is really to connect to it in your heart, or in your soul, or in your field, or in your emotion, in the way that you hold yourself, in the way that you engage, in the way that you breathe, in the way that you wake up, in the way you take action, in the way that you make choices, so that you can really bring that to your daily. And the more you do that, the more you're able to hold that level of awareness and that level of being and the way that you show up, which will then allow you to identify different types of scenarios in which you can continuously be in this state. So you can get there through meditation, you can get there through different energy protocols, you can get there through intention, right? By just remembering it and making sure that that happens, and many different other ways. Now, the fourth thing is to receive that information. So notice when you do have ideas come through your head, are you receiving that information from a place of joy, in the place of wonder, in the place of excitement, whatever that is for you? You want to make sure that you receive it. This is so beautiful. I want you to see the back of this. You want to be able to receive that type of excitement and that type of inspiration. And of course, you want to also discern like what is true, what is temporary, and what is something that really moves you moves you to fly off. Aww. We're gonna bring her out soon, or even open the right now. She's just happily chilling here. Woo woo. All right, so receive that information with joy and allow your heart to flutter. Allow your world to really open up and show you these different surprises and these different experiences that can lead to the next step. And so number 5 is ask questions, right? So in this book itself, we have a lot of supporting questions that can ask you around what your favorite day looks like, what it looks like, especially when you're transitioning into a new career or a new relationship. Like, what is it that you're really, really looking for? And allow your heart, the emotional part or the impact, to join in addition to what you're used to thinking with, right? Your cognitive brain and your planning brain. And when you realize that there's something that moves you, for example, the betterment of humanity, or sharing your gifts with the world, or creating a difference, or creating something more meaningful and purposeful, or creating something more intimate and more connected. When you know what that is, ask questions and see what else is possible and what else excites you. So you want to stay away from the hows at this point, and you really want to be connecting to what and why you're doing this, and what and why this is exciting for you, what is exciting for you, and really explore this place, because very few moments in our lives do we allow ourselves to really brainstorm freely without judgment, and also knowing that, you know what, I'm going to trust this and I'm going to take some actions on it, which brings us to number 6, which is taking inspired action. A lot of times the actions that we take on the most important things in our lives are pivotal, and they're very important, and they make a big difference in the trajectory of your life. However, sometimes the actions that you take are only 20% of what you truly want. And so understanding what that 100% is, and understanding, okay, what is it that I really want to accomplish, or I really would like to see from my mind into reality, is really helpful in order for you to design actions or take the next best step in order for you to move forward. Now, this is a very challenging piece, because oftentimes we might overthink it, which brings us to number, let's see, 7. So prior to that, we were talking about questions, right? So questions, I wanted to also mention, you can journal around the answers of that, which number 7 is ask more questions. So let's say your calling or your purpose, and your experience of how you want to create your life is in a way that is still very far-fetched, or something that you can't quite imagine concretely yet. Then you want to start asking more questions on what it is that not only just excites you, but what do you envision? Using your imagination, using your perfect day examples, where you imagine what your perfect day might look like, who you might interact with. We have like a chapter on your you only live once clients, your offers. How do you want that to show up in the world? What kind of collaborations would you like to have? Who would you like to be working with on a daily basis? What would you like to be doing? What sounds very exciting and fun? What kind of communities you want to surround yourself with? What kind of value systems, right? So a lot of activating your energy is about activating those inner authentic truths within yourself, and watching your world be filled with that. So that's something that's really supportive of allowing that energy flow to come through you all the time when you're really connected to it. So the first part actually is connecting to your commitments, which we talk about in the perspective of what is the thing that unlocks your heart. In the first part of our Yummy program, we look at what that is without any obstruction and any incongruency as to who you really are. Now, the last step, number 8, is taking more inspired action, because the more actions you take, the more information you get, and the more information you get, the more direction you get, the more you put things out there, the more the world can give you back responses and feedback, and the more you can then shift, and you can continue, you can commit more, you can start creating more, you can start getting more feedback, you can start meeting more people along the journey who will be supportive together, and the more you can fly off into the world doing exactly what you want. So here you have it, 8 different ways to activate that passion, that energy within you, especially after you've cleared out, you're in a space where you're in transition and you're ready to really commit yourself to this path. And remembering always that this path is your path. There is no one else who is doing exactly what you're doing. And definitely know that there's always a community to support you, people who have done similar things, people who are understanding the transformational process, and people who can support you along this journey. So understand that there is a whole life ahead of you when you're talking about living, breathing, and really completing, continuing, and activating your journey from this place of authenticity, from this place of impact, from this place of purpose turned into inspired action, and from this place of complete joy, creativity, and wonder, and fulfillment and meaning. So whatever it is that you want, go out there and get it. We'll talk to you soon in the next video. If you have any questions around any of the topics, just put it in the comments below or start heading over to yoloabundance.com/free PDF for the whole outline of this book that we shared. And then we also have links below on either the Matrix program if you're interested in removing a lot of this stuff that's in the subconscious that's like implanted from so many sources that we don't even need to know about, but is there affecting our thinking and psyche in different frequencies. And then for those of you who have just completed that journey, know that now is the time to recommit, to open up, and to really see what your next step is, feel what that next step is, receive the energy, interpret it, allow your body to interpret it so that you can make the change, take the actions, and then see the path revealed to you. All right, we'll talk soon. This is Hani, and I'll talk to you in the next video.